Hi there, everybody. Rick Tamlin here, bigger game guy and life is all made up guy. That's what my coffee cup says today. And I think, Tiffin, you have the same coffee cup. This is my friend Tiffin, which you're going to hear about it.
And
it's all made up live. That was our last conference. That's not what we're here to talk about. Here's what we're here to talk about. Tiffin is a part of is one of our clients in our year-long program called Produce You. We're not here to talk about that either. What we are here to talk about is what Tiffin is super excited about and the work she's doing that is getting amplified and brought into the world at a bigger scale from Produce You. But Tiffin, I'm going to let you tell them what you do. And the reason why I wanted her to do this is she was offering such insights for me and my business and my life from the context you're going to hear about in a minute. So this is a bit of an interview. Listen, by the way, for those of you that are watching, from the context of how this is going to serve your life personally, professionally, and business-wise, because I know it crosses all, kind of crosses all those worlds. So, Tiffin, welcome. Hi. Thanks for chatting.
Rick. Good morning, and thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I have been working for years as a coach, as a teacher, and now as an astrologer over the last couple of years.
That's the new part, people.
The new part is astrology, and I weave in the astrology and the coaching to really help my clients understand themselves on a deeper energetic level, like the soul map and blueprint of who they are, and to live from that place of authenticity and inner power. And the astrology also gives us all a context for what's happening energetically in the universe. And that's the part I want to share today of like what is up in the cosmos and how can we all tap into those energies to have our lives be more natural and more aligned with what's happening, and like really use that as allies in our life. And I'm excited about talking to you today, Rick. In particular, today is the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. And
so it's December 21st, 2017, by the way, date-wise.
Today is December 21st, 2017, right. And the solstice is the day that the sun enters the sign of Capricorn. It marks the beginning of the winter season. And this is a great fresh start energy. Okay, the beginning of a season always comes with that freshness, that newness. And with the winter solstice, it is the return of the light. And so I love this part of the winter holidays. It gives me great hope and expansion. Like, here we go, back towards the light, back towards possibility.
And just to be really pragmatic, because the days start to get longer, right? Light-wise.
To get longer,
right? It's just the real basic, like, oh yeah, great, we're headed towards those long summer days starting today.
Yes.
Right.
And for me, I'm a very solar girl. I'm a Leo, and I'm all about the sun. And so I really resonate with that, like getting back towards the longer days and that personal. But love this time of year for the going inward and reflecting. You know, this end of the year time of reflection for the solstice is a wonderful way to honor this time, to really reflect on the last year for us individually. And like you said, individually for our work, and that time to really assess, you know, that part of the bigger game model of assessment, I think is really timely right now to really see where we've been, to acknowledge ourselves for our successes and our wins, and to look at maybe what areas we had of disappointment or not creating what we wanted to in order to inform our plans and our hopes for next year.
Is there so what I can kind of hear in here, and tell me, you just keep redirecting me after recorrecting it. So there's like generally every year there's the winter energy go inside, right? That's generic. But is there something going on this year, this time, uniquely in the planets that you can kind of, you were sharing with me earlier, like a couple weeks ago, you're like, here's what's going to happen, or here's what's going on. So I'd love you to go there.
So today we have the sun entering Capricorn. That's the solstice energy, the start of winter. We're also currently in a Mercury retrograde period, which is a time for reflection and review and assessment. So that's supporting us.
Okay.
People often associate Mercury retrograde with information,
right.
misconnections, communication snafus, technology snafus,
right.
And all of that. So that can be part of it.
Right.
To be aware of as you're making those holiday plans, as you're, trying to make the connections or finishing up your business for the year. I know I've had, in the last couple of days, 3 clients saying, I'm overwhelmed. Can we reschedule? Can we put it off? And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's easier for me to roll with that kind of stuff when I know what's happening out there. I take it less personally, which is a huge benefit for me.
Yeah, that's a huge thing right there, just to realize something's going on at a bigger scale, right? It's sort of like what I love about your version of astrology, if you will. It has a behind the curtain quality, here, outside the curtain, here's what's going on, but no, let me tell you what's really going on, right? Let's open up the curtain. So.
Yeah, and I find that so helpful. If I have that context or that understanding, it helps me deal with what's happening right in front of me in my reality.
Right.
And it helps me have a different perspective on Mercury retrograde. Like I used to view it as, things are going to mess up. My technology is going to fail. People will get the wrong message. I won't make appointments. Things will go wrong. And now I tune in more to this is an opportunity to slow down and assess, review, reflect. Like I try to engage more with that energy of it. And I find that really helpful. Yeah. So the other huge astrological shift that happened yesterday is that the planet Saturn moved into Capricorn. And so we have the Sun and Saturn lined up together. And that's like whenever a planet lines up with the Sun, think of it as being plugged into the solar power. It's like getting re-energized with the Sun.
That's cool.
So this energy is particularly strong. And Saturn energy has been in the sign of Sagittarius for the last 2.5 years. And it's going to be in Capricorn for 3 full years. And that will be affecting all of us. Saturn is a planet in our solar system that has the beautiful rings around it. And it really, I like to think of it as the boundary planet and the pulling in the energy to make something real planet. Okay? Saturn asks us to be responsible, to be clear, to take the right action, to grow ourselves up and be serious in an area of our life. Okay? And through its time in Sagittarius, it asked us really to examine our beliefs and what we hold as our personal truth and philosophy. How are we interpreting all of the things happening in the world? And how is the world examining those beliefs as well? And I think a lot of the things happening on a world scale and politically and within our country, we've been forced to really look at those beliefs. What do we think about democracy? What do we think about human rights? What do we think about racism and sexism and religious freedom? And all of those big questions
those are all coming out like from an astrological context in perfect right time. Like it makes sense.
Because Sagittarius asks us to look at the bigger picture and to find meaning. And so all of those themes are very Sagittarian and very expansive. So it's like on a personal level, what do I believe? On a community level, what do we believe? Country level, world level. Really asked to examine that.
Right.
And now with Saturn shifting out of Sagittarius and into Capricorn, the energy is asking us all to then build from what we believe in.
Mm-hmm. Sort of a being to doing.
Being to doing. That's a great thing for all the coaches out there, those of us who work with that world. It really is moving from being to doing. And part of what you and I got excited about in our conversation a few weeks ago was like, this is a year to really make things real, to build, to, produce your work in the world. This is how it ties in with your program and your work. And to really look to how can I put into action from my truth, from my beliefs? How do I walk the talk? How do I make it real? And so we're all being supported by that energy.
Well, first of all, I love that. I love the timing. I think in my own personal development year, there was a shift, you know, I wanted to have a bigger impact in the doing and the make things real context, make, you know, in my language, make your bigger game real versus just a philosophy. So, you know, thus this program. So I love the timing. That's, again, you know, like you said, it's why I wanted to chat with you. But sort of like, here's what I'm noticing. I love what you said earlier. You kind of had you said the word grow up or be sort of more adult. There's a part of me, and I'm noticing it in sort of some of the conversations I'm having, you know, there's a voice inside of us that kind of goes, I'm going to say it wrong, you know, like, I don't really want to, that's too hard, I get overwhelmed, I don't have the talent. You know, there's sort of this dark side of the take responsibility, you know, or I don't have the resources, or, you know, there's all this sort of, so I don't know, maybe from a astrological context, what might you say to that?
Sure. Well, I think that's a natural part of it as well. And part of the energy that Saturn brings is not just that, it's like that calling us to be bigger, more responsible, whatever. Saturn also shows us where we're afraid. It's sort of that voice of fear and limitation. You know, the boundaries, the constricting energy can be experienced as a fear and a shrinking away from, or it can be experienced as a defining clarity of boundaries that actually can give us more freedom, can give us greater freedom.
So I just want to play it back. I'm going to go literal because I find it fascinating. So Saturn has got the rings, right?
Yeah.
The rings are a boundary tool or a boundary thing, one could say, and they keep where I'm going with this. I'm on a limb here, but yeses and nos get clear when Saturn is on, you know, when Saturn is on.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, like the boundary, like I'm going to say no to that, like, so I can make this yes happen, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a beautiful way of thinking about drawing from the Sagittarius. What do we believe in? What is the clarity of our yes and no? And then that Capricorn energy is very much the practical steps, right? The Capricorn symbol is the goat, and the mountain goat who just climbs that mountain step by step. On these little tiny ledges. You'll see pictures of goats like climbing brick walls based on those little tiny hoof holds, you know? Just amazing in the determination, in the finding a way. You know, and I love that idea to me because I can get super overwhelmed, as you know, with the practical details of, oh my God, how do I do this?
Yeah, you're not alone.
And I shrink back and go, I don't know. I'd rather think about the philosophy, you know? And I know a lot of us who, you know, have the big visions or have the big dreams. It's like, we love talking about that. And then it gets down to the nitty gritty of building the websites and the platforms and the doing. And then we kind of go, you know, and I think the Capricorn energy is really going to serve us all in helping, like, or I'm leaning into it this way. I've got this. And they are small steps of doing. It's not from the valley floor to the top of the mountain in one leap.
Well, here's what you're helping me with. Oh my God, this is so, I'm just having I didn't plan on this moment. So I'm a Capricorn. My birthday's January 5th, right?
Yes.
And my whole life has been this, you know, one step at a time kind of philosophy. And I can paint the dream and sort of froth the big dream, but then, you know, this year, this program, trying to bring everybody, you know, what's the next foothold? You know, for you, the goat, you know, it's like.
And look, that's part of the beauty that I see in this for you, and how your work is becoming manifest in the world, is that you are stepping more fully into that sun sign soul purpose of bringing that Capricorn energy to the world.
Oh my God.
Your unique flavor with all the other planetary energies and all of your frothing and engagement and fun and your emotionality, your emotions and your, you know, the big feeling of it that's so much a part of you, you know, but really stepping into, and this is a huge part of my work, is helping people really embody and step into the power of their soul nature. And a lot of that is our sun sign and is that most familiar astrology that people know. Most people are familiar with looking up their horoscope in the newspaper or
Right.
online by their sun sign. And
Right.
we are here to more fully live from that energy. And so I think for you, this is a big year with Saturn support, with,
Right.
that to really step more into that. Know your strength is in that, the diligence, the step by step, and also the spiritual, energetic substance that Capricorn is. It's substance, it's tradition, it's the reality, that we all can lean on. It's a very strong, supportive,
tangible, right? It's very
tangible. It's an earth sign, so it's very material, reliable, real. We can touch it, feel it, energetically.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I love that you're giving me is that it's, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I am having the best year ever from a creative, in purpose year. I cannot wait to get on the phone with everybody. It's like I could have 50 people in this program. I was like, oh my. So you're giving me reason for why this feels so good. And you're also giving me context for the pushback, not the pushback, the struggles that some of us get confronted with is that, I don't really want to do the nitty gritty. I don't want to do the next step.
Right. And there will be struggles. So Saturn in the chart is often interpreted as, this is where the hard lessons are. This is where the struggle is. This is where we confront our fear, and where we have to get real and walk the talk and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and mature ourselves.
Yeah.
So it is about hard work.
Yeah. There's responsible work. Here's what I learned. I'm working more than I've ever worked. I'm the oldest I've ever been, but I've never been more engaged. It's not hard, but it's intense, but it's calling me work.
Yes.
So is it hard is such a word that I kind of go, how do we have good work happen for people that doesn't feel hard, but feels compelling?
Right.
And I'm working more hours than I've ever worked. I don't want more free time. I wanted more engaging time.
Right. Engaging.
And that's what
purposeful.
Correct.
Still engaging to the essence of who you are, the soul of who you are, on purpose.
Right.
Right. And that's what I'm loving in my work.
Right. I know.
I'm working in a much more integrated way for me.
Right.
Maintaining my love for personal growth and teaching and engaging with people around the really essential, heart-based, who they are questions, and really helping people. And you and I, through our years of working together through lucid living work, really redefining our relationship with responsibility and with hard work. It's like embracing the true gift and power of that, from that joyous place, from that I'm on purpose, I'm more engaged than I've ever been kind of place.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so singing the same song. And what I love about what I love for you is what's happening is the blending of all of your gifts are coming together. And there's sort of a coming out quality to this astrology side, right? You're like, okay, it's so time to integrate this. I've been, I love it. And that's the other thing I so want to help people with is, what do you love? And bring it to your coaching practice, bring it to your work. Because it's going to give it a breadth and a depth and a context. And I think for those of you that are coaches who are watching this, that's a key element of building a successful practice. What's your context for your coaching? And, Tiff is such a great example of the context is astrological. It's based on deep-seated, long-term, millions of years, right? I don't even know where it comes from. But here's why I like it, because you believe in it. So you're frothing around it. Your sense of self with it has me go, oh, that's really cool. I want to hear more, And so you bring aliveness to it. That's the thing.
Thank you. And I love the integration. So for me, I mean, my love of coaching since 99, having the tools from coaching of helping people clarify their values, having that as a compass to their life adventure. Like that was my viewpoint on it for years, was helping people live their own life's adventure.
Right.
And that was super powerful. And then this bringing astrology into me, it's like, oh, we have a compass, that's awesome, but now we also have a map of our unique soul purpose and life thing. And so, and the context of what's happening now and how can we align with ourselves and the greater world and universe and what's happening energetically. Mm-hmm. I love that piece. And I want to share too from my personal astrology and chart, this whole thing of Saturn and Sagittarius, of getting clearer on what I believe, what I stand for, what's my stake in the world. Like, I had to face a lot of the fears around that, as you know, from that place of being afraid that if I come out as an astrologer, I'm going to be way too woo-woo for people. I'm going to like expose my fringe, esoteric, energetic, psychic, spiritual woo-woo, and that will mean people don't relate to me, don't want to work with me. Like, that fear of coming out around being an astrologer was big over the last couple of years. And working with you, you know, and your event in Lake George in June, and since then, has really helped me clarify my stake and be more willing to be public with it, to share it, and to know that it's value. And it's value because it's coming from my truth and my heart. I'm owning it and embodying it in a whole new way, and seeing the results and the power that it's bringing my clients has been thrilling. Like, I feel like my work has just been taking off with the impact and the meaning for my clients. And I can see that and feel it in a much more real way now that I'm stepping into myself, you know. And that's my hope for this work, is that I think our world needs people to be more who they are, all of us uniquely. Like, we don't need more people towing the line and being a version of, you know, successful coach, or this is what a teacher looks like, or this is what an executive looks like. We need everyone to be more aligned and more expressed from the truth and heart of who they are. Yeah. And that's what excites me.
Yeah. That's the work you do. That's the work you and I are aligned on that. It's like, okay, let's get real clarity for the person and we're in front of it. Say, okay, let's get some clarity here, because, you know, let's lean into other people's great work. Seth Godin and that great book Tribes, right? It's a brilliant book, by the way. You got to, you know, you read it. I know you have, Tiffin, but the whole concept is like, you know, get clear over here, talk about it, go public with it, and you're going to attract your tribe. Yeah. Right. And if they're not aligned and you know, you're not interested, great. They're not your tribe, you know. But if we don't give them something to sort of align around, a stake, you know, then they can't become a tribe. Then they're just a sort of a follower, possibly. You know. And what you're getting really, really good at is one of my favorite phrases from the Bigger Game Workshop is meet, point, dance. Yeah. You know, meet people where they are, point them in a direction based on your core beliefs and your context, and then dance with what you get. Right. Which is either a new meet moment or a new pointing moment. And you really are good now at sort of, okay, read this person, how much astrology can they hear right out of the gate? It's not gone, but there is a reading moment, right? Right. You know, whether it's a workshop or whether it's a one-on-one person, it's like, you know, but I dare say, because you're getting clarity of your messaging and you're getting clarity of your marketing, and, you know, a person that wants to talk to you, they've already arrived in the, I want that part of you, Tiffin. That's what I bought you for. That's what, you know, bring it. Right.
And I know that, you know, of the clients that I'm working with one-on-one now, some are super interested in the astrology and they want to be learning the technicalities along, like, what does that mean? And, oh, is that Saturn? Or, oh, is that my Mars? And all that. And others, like, we don't talk specific planets. We talk about the energetic content.
Yeah, that's me.
We talk about the essence of who they are and their values. And it's still based in, for me, it's still based in having this intelligent toolkit.
Map.
And you're right. It's about meeting the person and being able to engage with us and talk about it in a way that resonates for them. And like the teacher in me, my love in teaching, I taught middle school for many, many years. You know, it was about helping people learn in a way that was meaningful for them.
Right.
And that's why coaching is way more appealing. It's like personal relevance on every conversation. You know,
Right.
how do I help someone learn and grow in a way that's meaningful to them, not just what's interesting to me?
Right.
Or
Well,
what's required by education department, you know?
Right. Well, I love that you make that distinction, sort of teacher, coach, you know, because there's been a couple times where you've been so excited about what's going on in the planets, and you've called me, you sort of walked me through all the planets, and I'm pretty much hearing wow, 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 wow.
Right.
I'm usually like, okay, just tell me what all this means.
Exactly.
Should I do my June? Should I launch my or do my conference in June this year? Just tell me yes or no. So. Which is very cute, I'm realizing. But I see what I make up, just to, I know we're on a video here, but that part of you that wants to teach is going to find a home.
Yes.
You're going to want to teach this stuff.
And I do, and that's coming for me in the next year.
Right. There's a train the trainer coming.
And part of what I'm making real is a program for coaches and teachers, leaders, to have the astrological context for themselves so that they can align with that from their power and have a bigger impact.
Yeah, right.
So it is about, for me, translating and teaching these energies in this context for other leaders, teachers, coaches.
Yeah, great.
So coming soon, yes, there is a platform and a program for me coming out.
Yeah, of course there is. That's what we've been chatting about, right? To produce, help to produce you.
I don't have the details yet, but I know that with this energy of making things real, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's the year to do it.
And I feel already in my, year-end reflection process, I feel myself called to that future planning, that making it real, that, putting things in my calendar in ink, like that. I feel being called forth that way already. And I think that's something that everyone can tap into now.
Yeah, I was just going to go there, just to kind of give this some closure energy for now. What's a tip or a pointing for the viewer to kind of, for those that are watching, what can they go away with?
Absolutely. So just for this next week and a half, be the end of 2017, to know that between now and Saturday, we have Mercury in retrograde. It's a wonderful time to take a little time out to reflect.
Saturday the 23rd or Saturday the
23rd? Mercury will be going direct, which will help our communication and thought process moving forward. Okay, Mercury is still in Sagittarius, so it's having us think, that bigger meaning, our personal truth, but we'll have more clarity there. So that's great. If you do any kind of year-end reflection, assessment, closing out your business year, it's really supportive energy for that. And for personally setting intentions around the new year. So people often use that week between Christmas and New Year's as cleaning up, tying the bows on last year and thinking ahead and setting intentions or making resolutions and that kind of thing. And the energy is very supportive for that this year. Very supportive. And the energy is really supportive now, today, with the moon. So the emotional tone or the mood, the moon is in Aquarius today, which makes us all a little less detached. We're not as emotionally focused. We're more thinking and about the collective and about groups of people. So it's a very social energy and a very future thinking energy. And over the weekend, starting Saturday, the moon will be in Pisces, which will bring a calmer, slower, kind of dreamier quality to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, kind of a sweetness and savoring energy. So I love that. Let's sink into that.
Let's go with that.
It's go with the flow. Pisces is the fish and the water sign, our emotions, but it's just kind of sink into it. It's a sign that also brings out the energies of compassion and forgiveness. And I think that's a beautiful thing to bring with us into our holiday gatherings with family and friends, our closest ones that we probably all need to bring a little more forgiveness and compassion to. And ourselves within that, the expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you. Thank you for the good work you do. Thank you for being a part of my life. I guess I've outed myself that I'm leaning into some astrology in my life.
You have.
Not completely. It's another, I sort of love having many contexts,
Yes.
you know, that sort of hold me. And this is one that I lean into, and Tiffin has woken me up to, you know, in terms of, you know, literally my calendar year, I will sort of check in with her and go, so we're going to do this in June. How does that? And she's like, yes, do it in June. It's perfect. You know, so interesting to kind of lean into that. So thank you, Tiffin, for your good work.
Thank you. And I love that you're bringing that up. And I just want to say that it's one context of many. And
right.
all have the variety of our contexts. If we
right.
have, you know, religious traditions and beliefs, if we have
right.
our community things, and the thing is to find what really resonates for you, and this can be a great tool.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to share it with you, Rick. So fun to be part of your program and to be making my bigger visions real this year.
Yeah, that's the cool thing, right?
And really feel supported.
The Capricorn in me is like, yay, make things real, you know? So right? I've always known that, you know, years and years ago when I did a little research, you know, Capricorn, what does it mean? It's like, yeah, one step at a time, you know, and that's been my whole life, like one step at a time, and here's where I am. And so, you know, people ask me, how did you get where you got? And I go, well, do you have 4 days for me to walk you through the 35 years of this business life? You know, it's like,
right. And for me, I'm stepping more and more into my Leo energy, which is really shining from the center of who I am, being willing to be seen as a leader and being willing to be seen in my drama and my, like, it is all about me, but the truth is, it's on a bigger picture. It's all about each of us.
Yeah, that's the paradox.
To it is that in me embracing myself is you embracing yourself.
Yeah.
And I get to be the cheerleader and guide and coach and be part of that process.
Sort of the mirroring that I think you do for us.
Yes.
You know,
Rick,
so
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings. So much. Have a beautiful holiday. And hope you all enjoyed watching this. Check out Tiffin Dylan Facebook, Rick Tamlin Facebook. You'll find us. We're out in the world. So be well.
Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays. Much love to you. Bye-bye. Bye, Rick.
Bye.